Welcome back to Real Estate with Mike. Today's topic is the 10-year real estate market cycle. My purpose, of this whole channel is to bring the knowledge that I gained from years of being a real estate investor to bring them to the home buyer. And because I realize there's very little information out there for the average home buyer for them to use to navigate how to enter into this this aggressive market right now. So one piece that's very basic for commercial multifamily investors is to understand the 10-year cycle. And basically all it's saying is that every 5 years, I'm just trying to go back, let's say go back to 2000. And if we were at a bottom in 2000, every 5 years, '05 should have been a top, 10 should have been a bottom, 15 a top, 20 we should have been coming back to a bottom, and by now 2025 technically we would be at a top of the market again. So this is the natural ebbs and flows of the real estate market, and so that's what most investors are talking from these forces that are naturally working in the market. And then so what I'm trying to help buyers understand is if you use this information, the goal is always to buy on the bottoms, sell on the tops. And so when you understand that there's a natural cycle, when you miss the wave, you got to wait it out, or you just got to understand that you're probably buying at the not the best time in the market, but you at least have to understand where you are on the curve so that you can come up with a strategy that's going to help you gain long-term wealth, long-term equity, and that's what we're after. So what I want you to see that I love the most about this cycle is that if you notice on the bottoms, as we move forward every 10 years for the next bottom, the bottoms are higher. So even the bottoms of the market become higher and your highs become higher. That's why it's important to time these right to buy, and this is what investors do. We're looking for these moves. We're looking to sell, we're looking to buy, we're looking to sell, we're looking to buy. So when I take this information, that's what we start with. Whereas sometimes I think a home buyer doesn't even understand this, and they start with their desire to buy. And they're hearing the information that's pushing them to get into the market, and they trust that information without understanding there's a tide they're either working with or sometimes working against the tide, which can have some risk to it. So I took this curve and said, hey, let's take a look at where we are now when I put real data of what we really experienced over the last 20 years and see how this curve has actually worked out. It's just show you where some of the confidence that I have when I talk about, hey, the market is possibly going to make a move. Well, it's because I understand this and I use this. So I just want to show you something. So what the big job for the real estate investor is, number one, trying to figure out where we are on the curve. It's an art to try to, you're taking all the data in and you're trying to figure out, okay, where are we really? So that I can predict as best I can what my next move should be to opt to get the best opportunity in the market. So if you just take a look at where we are now, what I'm showing is the run up we've had from 2000 to 2005. We all know what that looked like. We all know at '08 to about 15, I don't know exactly when we hit a bottom, but it was somewhere 14, 15, we're kind of at a bottom. And then we ran up to about 18, 19, where the market really, went on a quiet tear. I don't think a lot of people talked about real estate as much in 18, 19, but if you look at the prices, we had a good run up and then leveled off, which should have been a top of the market. '08 was a top, 18, 19 should have been a top. This is what the data was telling us. And so a lot of us cautiously bought here because we didn't understand. We thought we were gonna, the market was gonna turn over. And you can actually see going into COVID, we were kind of at the top of the market, and then COVID hit. COVID sent us on another run. Now we're pausing off here in 24, 25. And so now the question, where are we gonna go next? And that's what I show people. Hey, if you're coming from the natural 10-year cycle, it's pretty easy to see that it really does work. Now, it's altered, but when the forces that alter the curve to make it move, that curve is in there. Something's here, well, that's COVID. But eventually, the effects from COVID wind down in the market, and the natural forces are highly assumed to take over. And so that should help you see what the betting odds are of where the real estate market goes. But again, who knows? But at least I got some information to work with to help me understand this 10-year cycle, to just arm me better to be out here in the market. And I just want to make sure home buyers at least had this background to take a look at this 10-year cycle. It works. We're using it all the time, and you may only need it once, but at least understand that, hey, there's a lot going on out there. When I go look to buy, if you're trying to buy now, just understand that there are bigger forces out there that you could actually get a better understanding of, and help you gain some confidence in your buying decision. Real Estate with Mike. If you have any questions, I hope this is helpful to you. Please ask. Hit me up with anything I can help with. In the questions below. Thank you very much.